All right, it's Tuesday, and that means it's time for Tuesday tier rankings, where we look at every quarterback's performance from week 5 of NFL action in 2024, and we put them into one of these 5 tiers: great, good, fine, poor, trash. Every quarterback, at least the ones that played the most for each team, every single one of them going into one of these tiers. We're going by division as always, starting with the NFC East. I do want to note this is the first week where we have had bye weeks. So Will Levis, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff were off this week. So, of course, they're not on the rankings this week. So we're starting in the NFC East. No Jalen Hurts, but Dak Prescott played. And I'm going to tell you what. Thought Dak was great. I thought Dak was great on Sunday night. The drive at the end to lead him down there against a stout Steelers defense, sloppy conditions. I thought Dak was great. Especially, I would have said good until that last drive. He took him down the field. That's an important drive for the Cowboys in the direction of their season. I thought that earned Dak a trip to the great tier for this week. Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, man, they are just rolling right now. They whooped up on the Browns. I thought that Daniels, he may have looked a little more human this week, but ultimately, I still thought he was great. I still thought Jaden Daniels was great this week. Especially with the Titans on a bye week, and I'm just sitting there watching Red Zone. It felt like every time they cut in with something involving the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, there was one that should have been a touchdown that Terry McLaurin with a very uncharacteristic drop. But this kid's just unbelievable. He's great, and he may have looked not quite as perfect as he had the previous 2 weeks, but he still was just great. Daniel Jones and the Giants. Not a lot of people expected them to win, but they did. And once again, I thought Daniel Jones was good. Daniel Jones, he gets a bad rap, but I feel like Daniel Jones has been a heck of a lot more good than bad. I would say in 5 games, he's probably been good in 3 of them. I think Daniel Jones is good, and the Giants won that game, and who knows what will become of the Giants. But I don't think Daniel Jones, preseason, I was just like everybody else. I was like, oh, Daniel Jones, this guy's terrible. You can go back and hear me say it, but as I watch him, I'm like, dude, you could probably do worse than Daniel Jones as your starting quarterback. Let's go to the AFC East with Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots. Brissett was poor. I say it every week with Jacoby Brissett. You know what you're gonna get. The ceiling is very low, and I think the Patriots just don't have a good enough roster to make up for having a guy like Jacoby Brissett, who is a backup quarterback, having to start. I don't think they have a good enough roster to make up for that, although their defense is good. So I thought Brissett was poor. Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I never thought he'd be this low, but he was poor, verging on trash. Josh Allen was poor, verging on trash this week. He was 9 of 30. 9 of 30 was Josh Allen against the Houston Texans. One of the worst Josh Allen performances that I've seen in a long time. I don't know what the Bills were doing at the end of that game. Just baffling. Aaron Rodgers, also poor, verging on trash. 3 interceptions, and they're going to fire their head coach? Did the head coach throw 3 interceptions? One of those being a pick 6? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it looked like he was heading in the right direction after the first few weeks. But these last couple weeks, especially Sunday in London against the Vikings, he just looks a mess, man. A mess. Snoop Huntley. Snoop was fine. Snoop was better against the Jets than he was, or excuse me, not the Jets, the Patriots. He was better against the Patriots than he was against the Titans. Against Titans, I thought he was trash, but he was fine. He did enough to win. He did enough to win the game. And the Dolphins needed that. So I think Snoop was fine. I'm really having trouble not putting Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers in the trash this week. Just looking at them, I'm like, man, I mean, 3 interceptions for Rodgers? Sheesh. Going to the NFC West with Brock Purdy? I mean, the 49ers just can't figure out. I mean, I thought Purdy was fine, but the 49ers just can't figure out how to win games. They're losing their close games. I thought last week was going to be a get-right game for them when they beat the Patriots, and now let's get this thing rolling. But I'm waiting on the 49ers to get it going. I don't think Brock Purdy has been a huge problem. It's just for whatever reason, they have not been able to get over the hump and win these close games. Matt Stafford and the Rams are 1-4. They're injured. They're banged up. Matt Stafford's just getting his brains beat in. And so I'm still going to say Stafford was good. I think, when you consider all of the injuries, when you consider that he's, like I said, he's getting beat up in there, I think Stafford was still good, considering that. I mean, you have to consider the circumstances. Geno Smith with a tough loss for Seattle. I mean, Geno I still thought was good. I still thought Geno was good in this game. I mean, you had some crazy things happen, obviously. I mean, they were down there to tie the game. Geno had the nice run to get him down there, and then it gets blocked, and the rest is history. But I still think that Geno is not like a problem in Seattle. I think Geno is going to be consistently good, and he's going to have you in position to win games. And the final quarterback from the NFC West is Kyler Murray. And you know what? I thought Murray was good. It kind of feels like as he goes, they go. When he's playing well, they win. And he played well. I mean, obviously he had that touchdown run where he called it from like the 40-yard line that he was gone. I thought Kyler was good. Thought he made some really nice plays in this game. Probably the best he's played since week 2. So, and the Cardinals won. So, Cardinals are a frisky team, and Kyler Murray's a frisky player. Let's go to the AFC West with the rookie Bo Nix. And the Broncos are on a 3-game win streak right now. Your guess is as good as mine. I thought Bo was good. I mean, look, they're winning. I don't think it's going to last. I don't think it's sustainable. But, I mean, I thought Bo, he threw a couple touchdowns, couple 100 yards. I think when they go against stiffer competition, it's going to be a different story. But Bo Nix is, at least he threw for more yards this week. I mean, last week it was like he threw for 65 yards. Didn't give the game away. But, I mean, this week he threw for a couple 100 yards and a couple touchdowns. Like, good. They won. Pretty decisively. Gardner Minshew with the Raiders. Oh, I like Minshew, but I'm going to have to put him in the trash. I'm going to have to put Minshew into the trash. I think, the Raiders, we're back to where they might have to give Aiden O'Connell a shot. The Raiders just look, I think Minshew, he threw a couple of interceptions. I think Minshew he is who he is, and I don't think the Raiders, especially probably getting ready to trade Devontae Adams, they feel like the worst is yet to come. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, by Mahomes standards, his numbers have been very, pedestrian. I guess I guess Mahomes was good. We'll put Mahomes into the good category. I think they were about 315 yards or so, had a pick. No touchdowns or anything, but they're 5-0. Like it's hard to sit here and be like, "Oh, the Chiefs, they're not good." They're 5-0. They're one of two unbeatens left. They keep winning games, and I think that's a testament just to him, I guess. Caleb Williams, hey, is his best performance this week. He appears to be getting better. They appear to be getting better. I thought Caleb was good. The only reason he's not, I mean, they were playing the Panthers. Playing the Panthers at this point is probably about the closest thing you'll get to playing, in college football when a team plays UNLV or something, just to have a game to, just go out there and get some reps. But I thought Caleb was good, and suddenly he is starting to look more like, what we expected from the Bears. We'll see if they can keep it up. But, I mean, they've won a couple of games now, and he appears to be getting better, appears to be getting more comfortable. Sam Darnold, for this week, I thought Darnold was fine. I mean, his defense got 3 interceptions. They got a pick 6. For what was asked of him, he didn't do anything terrible to give the game away. He hung in there, mostly made the smart plays. And so for that, I thought Sam Darnold was fine. He was fine. They're 5-0. And their defense is great. They've got a lot of talent. Sam Darnold is absolutely in a position to succeed there. So Darnold's fine. Jordan Love still feels like he's a little rusty, but I'll say he was good. I thought Love was good. He had a couple of turnovers, right? But he's had a little turnover issue, but he had the one ball into triple coverage that was great. They won. It feels like the Packers are starting to get a little bit of that momentum that they had at the end of last year. Joe Burrow, in a losing effort, they're 1-4. I don't know what the future holds for the Bengals, but I thought Burrow was great. I thought Joe Burrow was great on Sunday. Did enough to win. It's just in a game like that, division game between two teams like that, sometimes it just comes down to, one team had Derrick Henry and one didn't. But I still thought Joe Burrow was great. And Lamar Jackson was great as well. I mean, Lamar Jackson, there's something about when Lamar Jackson plays the Bengals especially. He just has his best plays. The play where he stiff-armed the guy and the ball rolled to him, and then there were 3 guys that he avoided to throw the touchdown to Isaiah Likely. Just freakish what Lamar Jackson was able to do on Sunday, and I just thought he was great. Him and Burrow both. That was a showcase of 2 tremendous quarterbacks, reminding you that they are 2 tremendous quarterbacks. And from there we go to the opposite side of the spectrum with Deshaun Watson, and he finds his way to the trash. Deshaun Watson goes in the trash. I mean, I can't even believe. The Browns, I expected the Browns to take a step back, but they're even worse than I expected. And he's even worse than I expected. A low point was at one point where Stefanski wanted to go for it on 4th down and Watson just walked off the field, gave up. Like, what a dumpster fire they've got going on in Cleveland right now. Just a total dumpster fire. And he is the one lighting the match on the fire. Because with what they've paid him and everything, it's just a disaster. Justin Fields, in a losing effort, I thought Fields was fine. He was fine. Dak was just a lot better than him on Sunday night, I think. But, I mean, Fields was fine. Derek Carr, who is now hurt and is going to be out for a few weeks against the Chiefs. I mean, I guess he was fine too. It's going to be interesting now because I think the Saints are probably going to go with Spencer Rattler, who had a good preseason, so maybe they'll find something there with him. But, I mean, there was just never a moment of that game where you felt like the Saints were going to win. It's just, even though Mahomes' numbers are pedestrian and Travis Kelce hadn't really done anything, You just never felt like the Saints were actually going to win that game. And so, yeah, Derek Carr was fine. Andy Dalton, oh. I mean, guys. Andy Dalton, I thought, put him in the trash too. Everybody, thought it was going to reinvigorate this Panthers team to put in Andy Dalton. I've said it earlier this week. Are the Panthers any better off right now than they were? I mean, are they any better off right now than they were? Now, you're just killing time with Andy Dalton. You've pulled the plug on Bryce Young, and you've got to go, I guess, draft somebody. I don't know. Kirk Cousins. I almost said Matt Ryan. I just saw the Falcon outfit and almost said Matt Ryan. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was great Thursday night. He threw for over 500 yards, methodically marching up and down the field with Mooney and Drake London and those guys. Kirk Cousins was just great. He was great, and he is proving to be worth the money for Atlanta. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, that's the team they beat. I actually thought Baker was great too. I thought Kirk Cousins was a different kind of great. He threw for over 500 yards. Baker didn't throw for that many yards, but I mean, there was some of these throws that Baker was making that I was like, holy cow, this guy is filthy. So yeah, I thought both of these guys were great, but I just thought Cousins was a different level. Over 500. You don't see a lot of quarterbacks throwing for over 500 yards anymore, but Cousins did it on Thursday against what I thought was a good defense in Tampa Bay. We are to our cohorts in the AFC South, starting with Joe Flacco. I mean, bro, I know they lost, but I thought Flacco was great. For what they needed him to do, I thought Joe Flacco was great. He threw for 400 yards. He kept them in this game. He kept the Colts in this game, throwing bombs to guys. I got to give it to the guy. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're playing the Titans this week. I hope they go back to Richardson. Trevor, you know what? I'm not going to be biased. I thought Trevor was great too. Because their backs were against the wall. The Jaguars, I mean, this is a must win. This is a must win. And it looked like they were going to give it away. But, with the exception of one interception that he threw that was bad, everything else Trevor did in this game was great, I thought. I thought he was the reason they won. Him and Brian Thomas Jr. were the reason they won this game, to me. Last but not least, C.J. Stroud in a victory over the Bills, and I thought Stroud was good. I mean, the thing, I would have put him in great, but he had a rough fourth quarter. Threw an interception, lost a fumble, had an intentional grounding that took him out of field goal range, and if the Bills hadn't lost their minds, I think the Texans were in trouble here. So C.J. Stroud had a rough fourth quarter, but they won. He was good. And there you go. That's where all of the quarterbacks land on the tier rankings this week. In the great tier, we've got Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, Trevor Lawrence. In the good category, we've got Daniel Jones, Matt Stafford, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, and C.J. Stroud. In the fine category, it's Snoop Huntley, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, and Derek Carr. In the poor tier, it's Jacoby Brissett, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers. Not names you would expect down there. And in the trash, it's Gardner Minshew, Deshaun Watson, and Andy Dalton. What say you? Every Tuesday, we're tier ranking them. Bye, everybody.